Morning, I'm Chris Ponsford, and today I'm at the wonderful Shatterford Lakes, a venue that's quite local to me. My plan is we're actually in the middle of a heat wave, believe it or not, and we're going to try and catch you some roach, a few off the deck to start with, and a few up in the water later on as hopefully they come up in the water. I'm going to be feeding a little bit of ground bait, some meaty salmon, and I've liquidized some corn in with it. I'll probably put a few casters in with it. And we're going to fish on the deck to start with, and then we'll start to see if the fish start to want to come up in the water, and it's going to be on simple, very simple Waggler tactics, and that's basically as simple as it gets. Nice cheap day, affordable tackle, in lots of heat when lots of other species are struggling to feed. Hopefully we'll catch you a few roach. So the plan today is to use a bit of ground bait on the deck. In this particular instance, I'm using the meaty salmon. And the reason I'm using this one is it's got an awful lot of fish meal in it, and this particular lake, they seem to really like fish meal. And there's lots of roach here, lots of skimmers, and I think it'll work well. So what I've done, I've mixed some up earlier, and I put some liquidized corn in with it. And I've also put a tin of hemp in with it, and I've also used those juices in that to mix the ground bait. Now it's quite stodgy at the moment, and I can play around with that, and what I will be doing is later on, if I can get the fish to come up in the water a bit, I'm going to introduce them to sloppy ground bait with a few casters in with it. So that's the general plan. Nice and simple. Not brought loads with me. That's not what we need. Hopefully we can catch some fish, and our tactics will work well. Right, so now we've decided we're not going to fish very far out today. And I want to really catch them really close in, almost off the rod end ideally, but to start with, I'm going to try and encourage them to come in, and I don't quite know what's there at this stage. I've introduced no feed, so I'm going to put the float out there, just a little bit. I have done a little plumb up, and we're just going to fish that there, and literally, I'm just going to get a little couple of balls of ground bait, put them around that area of the float. And this will go onto the bottom and give them something to have a look around at. We'll put that in initially, and then we'll probably introduce a few casters over the top of it as well. And I've just got to make a fine adjustment on the float, and we'll be fishing. So, how am I catching them today? Very simple stuff. Waggler rod, reel, 3-pound line, Preston Centris, that's the 420, that one. I put some 3-pound Preston's mono on that one. We don't need great big heavy line. I've got a lovely rod here. This is the Preston's Absolute 13 foot. This is, I think, is an older model, but it's got a lovely tip on it. I've shotted that up. I've got a size 16 hook on to an 010 bottom. And then I've used number 10 stots down the line. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stots. I'm fishing about 4.5, 5 foot deep. And then on the top here, this is a rather beautiful little float. This is actually a John Bull whip waggler, and it's got a very long tip on it there, which is very, very fine. A balsa body there, and then underneath it I've got 2 BB and there's 2 float stops either side. And I can move those up and down, just move the shot as well. And that's it. At the moment, I'm fishing either just on the deck, depending how far out I throw it, or just off the deck. It's not super critical. I'm using corn on the hook, which seems to be the most favourite way. I'm feeding a little bit of this ground bait, which as we've described earlier, and I'm just loose feeding a few casters over the top. Float slowly going down with those shot. Only using, oh, missed that one. Well, even though the sun's going, it doesn't make any difference. The fish don't mind. That's the thing about the roach, they're really obliging. Roach and skimmers, good species to target when it's hot like this. I'm literally just swinging it out using the length of the rod pretty much. This is a John Bull Waggler, this one is. Got a very fine tip on it. Gradually goes down with those. Oh, that was a quick bite then. And the idea is once we get into a bit of a rhythm, we can swing them straight to hand and straight into the net without actually reeling them in. Slowly going down, getting down to the business part of the deck. And a little dip of the float. So it's now settled. And float is literally just subsurface, so I've got it really dotted down. And there was a little bite. There we go. How about that? Lovely jubbly. That's a lovely roach, that one. I met that one. Oh, he's a beauty. He's a beauty. That's what we come here to catch. There we go. Oh, he's got some go, hasn't he? Oh, it's a great big perch, look. Look at that. Oh my days. Come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. Come back, Mr. Perch. Oh, come back here. Come back here. I'm kind of glad I put a big hook on now. Hey, that's nice, wasn't it? Look at that. And a bit of sweet corn, eh? Look at that. Yeah. Fabulous. Had a bit of go in him, didn't he? Look at that. So we're catching well on the deck now. But what I've been doing, I've been feeding closer in with some casters and some ground bait. And I've been dropping it in closer. And my plan will be, it's quite sloppy that, and I'm going to make that even sloppier soon by adding more water to it. And I'm going to be putting some casters in with that into the ground bait. And as I say, at the moment, we're bagging just off the deck or on the deck. But I'd like to bring them up in the water. And what I've also done is I've also changed to a size 14 hook because it's coming so well, and because I'm fishing corn, so I'm not fishing little tiny baits. So I'm gradually going to switch it over now, and I'm going to mix some of this ground bait up real sloppy in a minute, and catch one more fish, and then I'm going to mix it up sloppy. Oh, bump that one. One more cast, as I say. It's a bit like that famous last cast of the day, isn't it? Let's have a last cast, and 25 casts later, still fishing. But I just love it. That's such a sensitive float, that is. Incredible. Oh, and again. Okay, Mr. P, time to do what you said you're going to do and make that sloppy ground bait up. Right, so I've made a few changes. So what I've done, I've shallowed up by about a foot. I haven't changed my shotting pattern, I've just moved the bulk shot down a little bit. I've still got the corn on the hook, and I've mixed up that lovely sloppy ground bait. And now, instead of feeding the casters, I'm actually going to put a few casters in the top of the slop. So that will be basically what I'm fishing. And then I'll literally throw that in there, nice and close. And then I'm going to put that float over the top of that, so that sinks amongst that lovely sloppy ground bait. So we've got a slow sinking piece of corn, and let's see how long it takes to get a bite. Didn't take long at all, in fact. That was a bite straight away, which I missed, but never mind. So just pop my float out, and then just literally get a little finger full of it, and there you go. Round that float, there's my sloppy ground bait, making a lovely cloud. A few little bits in with it, and there's another bite, and there we go. Simple as that. Boom. Another piece of corn. Now sometimes the very biggest fish will come off the bottom looking for those bits and pieces. So I'm confident we'll soon have a few more in the net. So back out, literally swing the rig out. Let's get a little pinch of slop. Back in the business, that's it, back out there. That's all we gotta do. Slowly sinking, floats dimpling down, and there we go, and we're in again. Oh, better fish again. This is a nice fish. Oh, is that a skimmer? Oh, yeah, it's a skimmer. Another skimmer. So we had that big perch earlier. We've had some nice skimmers. We get a nice roach. There we go. Slop's certainly not putting them off, is it? And it's amazing actually sometimes how much water you can add to that ground bait. It's very, very dense stuff really. Got a lot of gear in it. Where's my... So just need to use the old disgorger on this one. There we go. That's it. Well, we've had a lovely day. We've only been fishing really for a couple of 3 hours, and we've had plenty of fish. Caught mostly on sweet corn, done well fishing over the ground bait on the bottom. And then we came up in the water and fished the slop and had some more fish doing that. And just to finish off, I'm just going back in, I've made it gone a bit deeper again, and see if we can just finish off with a last fish, a bit like that. Little roach, and there we go. That one was on the corn, and I think on that note, that'd be a nice note to finish, and we'll have a little look, see what we've caught. We've had a lovely little morning actually. Caught some nice fish. We've had quite a few skimmer bream, and let's see what we got. There you go. Look at those beautiful fish. Shatterford does produce the most amazing fishing. As I say, we've got lovely little bream. Got nice roach. You've even had a big perch actually today. Lovely great perch. So what we'll do, we're going to pop these back in. it.